Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
I was looking at these old embarrassing posts on my Tumblr.
Oh, that's a journey.
Yeah, you know what's great?
What's great about
Recording your innermost, most personal thoughts on a public platform between the ages of 16 and 20. There's no way that stuff's ever going to be embarrassing, is it?
Yeah. I remember like my tweets from when I was like first year of uni, and I'm like crippled with shame.
Yeah.
I think like probably I'm gonna go to my therapist. Like, this is why I can't create anything anymore, because I had too much of my brain out in the open, and now I'm crippled by this.
Yeah.
I remember one time I was like drunk one time at uni, and I said something along the lines of like, "I wonder why I'm single" or whatever. And one of my school friends said like, "Probably because you tweet like this," and it like it was like a fucking fatality of like a response.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like damaged morale.
Yeah. And I just think about it every now and again. I'm like, that's probably like done more psychic damage than I care to admit.
Yeah.
And from then on, I was like, maybe because they were right, but I was also like, you could have told me this in a more, first of all, a less public setting, and second of all,
yeah, you were on stage, you were graduating.
Yeah, I'm on stage. You could have like DM'd me about this, and also they were right, and also I had to change my behavior.
Yeah,
but yeah, like that, I feel that deeply in my like my little shame closet.
Well, I think it's worse for Gen Z people because, like, we were like at that age. Like, I got my first laptop when I think I was 17.
Mm-hmm.
I got my first smartphone when I was like 18. Those were my first times when I was like, okay, I have private use of the internet. Now to share myself, you know, now to like find like-minded people, and it is good for that. Like, I was like, oh, okay, I found out there's a lot of people like me, a lot of people with the same interests, that kind of thing. Good for fandom stuff.
For better or for worse.
Good for watching Spider-Man the animated series on YouTube when it wasn't accessible anywhere else.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
Also, like, the idea of like going through a formative stage of your life on something which is like, you know, that social network line where it's like the internet isn't written in pencil, it's written in ink or whatever it was. That's like a recipe for disaster. And I did go through and I deleted a bunch of stuff. I also saved them for prosperity because I was like, I screenshotted them and I was like, okay, this is just staying on my computer though, because I have to laugh at like, it wasn't exactly like Why Am I Single, but it is similar kind of stuff. There was just very cringy things.
Yeah.
Also, some stuff which I'm like, this is fine, but you shouldn't tell other people about it. I can't imagine being in that mindset now. And maybe it's because back then, if you were on the internet, you're more likely to be kind of like a nerd because or an introvert.
Technology wasn't like ubiquitous.
Yeah. Everything wasn't accessible by the phone, but then also you had the pandemic thing, and now it's just like everyone. Now it's like, if I posted on Tumblr being like, I feel sad today, my schoolyard bully is gonna come on and and call me like a slur or something, and it's like, oh wait, yeah, like they're on here as well now.
Yeah, like the bullies became cyber bullies. They became like more like technologically advanced.
Right, but then if you're at school when this is already happening, you know, like, I think we all started getting Facebook when I was like, you know, 14, maybe 13, 14.
Yeah.
Which is also bad, but at least like everyone was still like didn't know how to use it, and there wasn't as much like usability as now. And everyone's using a family computer and stuff like that, so it's a bit different. But now it's like there's no separation between that and your real life. So anything embarrassing you do, like if you do something embarrassing in the playground, everyone will make fun of you. Eventually they'll forget about it. But like if it's just like saved there, you know, and it can be shared to other people who weren't even there.
Replay.
Yeah, and then that's not even including the stuff that we don't use, like, or at least I assume, like Snapchat and things like that. And it's just like, it's crazy.
I have one friend who keeps trying to get me into Snapchat. Like we went to school together. He was in my year.
Oh.
And he keeps going like, Yeah, you just follow me on Snapchat. I'm like, sorry, it's not 2011 anymore. I'm not doing that.
Like when it first started, I got it, and then I think I
Yeah.
left it because I got rid of a bunch of social media after a breakup once, and I was like,
That's the way to go.
and I was like, yeah, my dramatic thing I'm gonna do is gonna be deleting Snapchat, and
Wow, you sure showed us.
yeah, everyone noticed as well. Everyone was
Yeah.
talking about it.
It
No,
was like a big like hashtag on Snapchat, if that's even a thing, which is not.
so I was kind of surprised to know that it stuck around and it became like more of like a thing for younger people. And if I was to go back to it now, I'd feel like, the "Hello, fellow kids" meme.
Yeah,
Even if I was only talking to people my age, it would still feel like,
very hello for the kids.
yeah, it's like I'm an adult. I should be using Blue Sky.
Yeah, yeah. That's the thing about turning 30. At least is that like, there's no part of me which feels like it has to keep up with trends anymore. People will say things to me, and I'm like, I don't have to know this anymore. Sorry,
Yeah,
I'm gonna stay on YouTube.
yeah. All power to the people who are our age or older. Because when I was younger, and I would see people in their 30s or something like posting about trending things like on Twitter and keeping up with stuff like that. And sometimes even if they're like a social media manager or something, like actually keeping up with everything and making it part of their job. Like now I'm like, that's a lot of like brain span to like keep up with that, a lot of patience. Because when you get to this age, you start seeing stuff and you're like, if I don't pay attention to this, it won't matter in like 2 years. I'll have to put up with 2 years of not knowing what that thing is, but it will disappear. Like you've seen so many memes disappear,
Yeah.
like tears in rain.
I was actually just thinking that. And the funny thing is, that particular reference, if you were born after like 2001, you have no idea what the fuck you're referencing.
Unless like does like Jared Leto say it in Blade Runner 2049?
No, he doesn't.
He looks into the camera and says it.
That was actually part of the last movie. In his weird, like, stupid voice that he does.
Yeah.
That bullshit movie. Oh, the movie's actually good, but he's bullshit in it.
Yeah, he is the one saw thumb in that great movie. That he apparently almost went blind.
And man, fucking deserved, honestly.
So silly.
Fucking Jared Leto.
Speaking of Jared Leto,
worst segue ever.
Yeah, Morbius.
Yeah. Hey everybody, welcome to That 90s Spider-Man Show, which is a podcast where we talk about Spider-Man, the animated series, and remember a time when our favourite superhero wasn't invading every aspect of our pop culture landscape. This time around, we're talking about Season 4, Episode 7. It's titled The Vampire Queen, but it should really be titled One or Vamp City Bitch, Vamp City Bitch, and Too many vamps, we need some humans in here. Of course, Morbius is back. But so is Blade, and he's brought his debilitating mummy issues with him.
Oh yeah.
Ugh, good lord. I'm Henry, this is Jack. You know the deal.
Oh yeah. Hello.
Hello. We have a lot to get through with this fine episode of the podcast. In a way, I was right that Morbius is coming back, but I was not prepared for how much he would be back.
This is another thing. I feel like as I've gotten older, I've just realized how wrong I am all the time.
All the time.
Such as being like, I don't think Blade's gonna come back into this. That was just
I kind of wish he hadn't.
I thought it was just a fun reference. Like, oh yeah, Blade's over there. That's why he's not in this episode. For whatever reason, we don't have time. We have to spend more time with Morbius.
I thought Whistle was like lying because like Blade was actually in the other room, being like, actually doesn't want to talk to you.
Well, yeah, he had to put him down. So,
yeah. Made like bitter kid.
But no, he's it's actually
he's actually just full on in Europe.
I don't know if we've had other episodes like this, but this one feels very much like that first episode. The plot car is like accelerating up to like 20 miles an hour. And at the end of the episode, it's like, whoa, we're going 20 miles an hour. And then this one, they floor it. We've got to get to 200 miles an hour before the end of the episode.
Yeah.
And it's like, you could have, if you're doing a two-part, you could have balanced this out like a little bit.
Yeah, it feels like the first episode, it felt like you're going to like your nephew's like 8th birthday party. There's like a little clown, like a little petting zoo. And the second episode is like where the cocaine kicked in. You're like, oh shit, here we go.
This is that nice Spider-Man show where we have dueling metaphors to
Yeah.
explain the same thing.
We need more metaphors. It's at this point, it's mostly metaphors. We've forgotten how to speak like normal people. We just speak in metaphor now,
You are literally a metaphor.
and a metaphor for a metaphor inside of a metaphor.
A more before.
But before we, bath.
I tell you
Bath.
what, it's not the worst pun I've heard recently.
I can say that much.
Yeah, there's plenty of those in this episode. I'm sure you were
There's
groaning.
like one where even Spider-Man was like, no.
I could hear you groaning from the other side of the planet.
These four will join us.
Not on your afterlife!
So, last episode, basically, Morbius was locked away in like a cave, and Debra Whitman, for some reason, brought him out because she was actually shocking twist, horny for Morbius.
Mhm.
Connors is doing his best, his level best, to shut down ESU forever.
Uh-huh.
And there's a black man who is, I'm assuming, dead at one point. Landon and Kingpin are here for immortality reasons. They think Morbius is the key to that for some reason. Landon is in hospital because he gets attacked by Morbius and sucked off, and Kingpin rolls away in his cubal ways. Felicia reveals herself to Morbius. She has a chance to kill him, and sadly for all of us, she fumbles the opportunity. And that leads us to present day, where Morbius is on the loose. We begin with Black Cat talking to, a black cat.
Mhm.
And the black cat is full of indecision, is what I was looking for.
I
So-
thought you were going to say milk.
She probably...
Wait,
I don't know. I don't know how her calcium intake is, but I hope she's getting enough milk. Her bones.
I'm so sorry. That's so derailing. I'm looking at a picture of her.
Are you a picture of milk?
I'm looking at a picture. I'm not helping myself. I'm looking at a picture of her cat, who I think is called
Okay.
Buggins or something like that.
Something stupid.
Yeah.
Something that took no effort whatsoever.
And I saw the cat. I was thinking black cat, and I was like, cats like milk. And I shouldn't have said this female character is full of milk.
Yeah. Instead of got milk, it's got morb.
Yeah, she's full of the milk of Morbius.
Well, that's even worse. How did you make that worse?
Milk
Ugh.
Milkius.
Semi-skimmed morb chocolate.
I may have to help destroy one man I love, or betray another. Either way, I can't avoid hurting somebody.
Yeah, she's using this cat as a personal therapist,
Mhm.
and this cat is, it's a good thing that Peter Parker isn't allowed within 100 yards of his apartment anymore, because he would have put things together by this point that she literally has a black cat and she is Black Cat.
And he's met this cat as well. Isn't this the cat
he's met this-
that is found in a construction site in the Craven episode?
I thought so, but I don't think the cat was a black cat. I think it was just a regular ass cat. And she
Oh.
doused it in tar and took it
Yeah,
home.
she painted it to be
Yeah.
more on point.
It's part of my brand.
Yeah.
So, Black Cat is in conflict. She's decided between a living vampire abomination and Spider-Man.
Hmm.
But I think the only reason she hasn't made her choice yet is because she doesn't know he's Peter Parker.
Yeah. And maybe the only reason that she's still considering Morbius is because she could subconsciously pick up the Peter Parker vibes.
Yeah.
She's like,
Yeah.
this guy seems cool, but I got a feeling under the mask he might be a bit of a I can't think of a word for Peter Parker in this show, but he's not
He's not an eligible bachelor, let's say that
yeah,
much.
he's not a cool guy. He's not like a bad guy. Almost like he's a little bit of the nice guy TM, kind of the proto kind of male feminist who doesn't really get it, wants everyone
Yeah.
to think he's getting it kind of vibe.
Yeah. Like a Joss Whedon feminist.
Yeah, like Joss Whedon during the era of writing the script for Alien Resurrection.
Jesus Christ.
You know what's funny about that to me is that for years, there's a point where someone goes, wait, Joss Whedon wrote Alien Resurrection? And then everyone goes like, oh no, he got screwed over by the studio, it wasn't really him, his name's on the script, but it's not like really his script. And then it's like, now that everyone doesn't like Joss Whedon for very real behind the scenes
Justifiable
reasons,
reasons. Yeah.
now everyone's like, yeah, Joss Whedon, writer of Alien Resurrection, he can have that one now.
Yeah.
Like, there's no defense
It's his
anymore.
punishment.
Yeah,
It's just a millstone for being a piece of shit. Now we're not going to denounce you from this movie
yeah.
that sucked. Anyway, yeah, so at this point we have a flashback of what happened last episode, and given how much we got to cover in this episode, this flashback takes too long. We don't have time for this.
On the other hand, though, I do think it helps in the sense that you can just not watch last week's episode.
Yeah.
And all you're missing out on is the 10-second scene of Kingpin walking into a coffin door to get to his immortality lab, which
Yeah.
is pretty good. But other than
Just
that,
turn the episode off after that.
yeah.
Just like go do something else after that.
That's the it's the
Anyway.
crazy thing though. You can recap all that stuff so quickly, and yeah, it took a whole 20 minutes last time.
Good lord.
Since when did my new powers come with so much responsibility?
Will I ever see the Black Cat again?
Anyway, so yeah, she kind of like swings off as Black Cat. As she's swinging away, Spider-Man swings in, being like, "I wonder where Black Cat is." And I don't know about you, but for me, it seemed really obvious that you could see Black Cat and just wasn't looking.
Yeah, it's in the same shot, right?
It's literally in the same shot.
I do think it's one of those things. It is like you can nitpick it. I think it works thematically, and I think it's. I mean, I'll
Oh,
get
yeah,
into it more
thematically.
later, or I'll forget and not get into it more later. But I do think their dynamic in this episode is probably the best thing about it.
There's a lot going on. There's a lot of partners in danger.
Mhm.
Let's say that
In
much.
dangers.
So, in dangers. Partner in dangers. As we all know. So, they're both on the lookout for Morbius, wouldn't you know? And that brings us very nicely to, let me check my notes here, Europe. It turns out that Blade was not just part of a lie that Whistler was making up. He was chasing a vampire through Europe. Questions I have here are, how did he get his bike here? Did he just put on a ferry out to Transylvania?
I think there's a ferry that goes from New York to Transylvania.
I mean, yeah, it takes him 3 weeks.
Yeah.
He's just scurvy by the time he gets off the boat, but he gets there, and he basically. I kind of wondered, did he rent it? Because if he rented it, he's lost his deposit. Because the first thing he does is just drive it off a cliff.
Yeah.
And
This chase, right? Blade has his theme, right, with the guitar riff.
the
And
thing sucks. Just say
the combination of that and a guy on a crazy motorcycle driving along the cliffs, chasing a vampire with a cape who's flying around and with laser beams coming from her eyes and stuff.
Yeah,
And that music, I was like, this feels like an 80s Saturday morning cartoon. Like, it feels specifically of that era, that kind of the Transformers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles hype. And they're like, oh, fuck, what we got? Fucking biker mice from Mars,
Extreme Dinosaurs. Actually, Extreme's probably more 90s. This is more the cocaine had set in, but we weren't calm down yet.
Yeah. Extreme Dinosaurs is too late for that. But I guess G.I. Joe and Cobra and shit like that.
He-Man.
Yeah, He-Man, yeah. Like that exact kind of vibe, which is almost I mean, again, we'll get into that more later, but it feels like a different show is happening.
A little bit. And if you don't know what He-Man is, listeners, ask your parents. In a sentence I never thought I'd say.
It's the guy from that song.
Oh, another deep pull that I'm not gonna even touch. Okay, so moving swiftly on from that, did you see this bit where basically this vampire flies into a building, and as we're watching Blade total his bike, the drawbridge goes up, and he just runs and jumps through this drawbridge. And I'm like, how fast is this motherfucker running? By the time he sees the drawbridge, it's 200 feet away, and he still gets in there before it closes.
Yeah.
And he just starts running in there and blowing shit up, which is great. He has no idea who lives here.
Well, he does know that the person that he's after is making random dudes float up, giving them evil monologues, and that's enough.
That's all you really need to know. at this point.
Also, I think it's bold that this is straight up Transylvania. You know,
Yeah, Vampire City basically.
is everything about this is very like it's all the quintessential vampire stuff, including a big old empty castle on the side of a cliff with a drawbridge. Actually, why does it? Like, the drawbridge is interesting because there's no water, right? Because it's just on a cliff.
It's not a moat. It's just like literally like I guess like a drawbridge makes more sense than if like it was.
Yeah, but it's also like for that drawbridge to be effective, that pit has to be a little bit deep, which means that this is truly the most unstable land possible on the edge of a cliff with a huge crack
Yeah.
separating it from the landmass.
Yeah.
That's probably why it's empty, because if there's two people in there running around, that's fine. If you put a third person in there, that's going into the ocean.
Yeah. The third person either fell to their death right away or like the whole thing tips over. You look into that cliff, it's just like a whole like pool of dead Amazon drivers. Just, like,
Or just the packages that they've just thrown in because, like, fuck it.
yeah. Oh yeah, that did come in the mail. I guess I had that refund for nothing. Anyway, they have a little bit of hijinks here, and the vampire gets away, but Blade gets their cloak, and inside their cloak, did you catch this? There's like a Daily Bugle, which is for some reason goes to Transylvania.
I think
Like J.J. Jameson like sold ad space to like some random Eastern European country, so no one lost their job.
yeah, it's become an international corporation, J3.
J3, yeah. Like Putin is like feeding him like lines.
It's a very funny way to find out what's been going on, because Blade, after the last debacle, and then him being like, fine, I won't kill Morbius, and then Morbius flying away and just being like, okay, I guess that's enough, I won't murder him, he's gone now, and then just looking in the paper and being like, oh, they brought him back, oh my god.
I should have killed that motherfucker.
The other thing too that I thought was most funny about this is just like the idea, it's not just it's the Daily Bugle with that image, which also it has a picture on the front of Morbius and a Spider-Man fighting. The headline is
terrible. Like the sub-editor's trying to get fired.
ESU student discovers Morbius lives, and then there's a alongside the Spider-Man Morbius photo is a picture of Debra with a syringe, like looking so evil, and also putting all the blame on her. Which, I mean, it is her fault, but also like,
it's 100% her fault.
I think the angle they're going for is that this is an unfair headline, because like it's like she should be celebrated for doing this crazy science thing, but it's the Bugle, so they're gonna make her look bad in the same way they made Spider-Man look bad. But I think this is actually like pretty responsible journalism.
Like of all the things they could have written, this is like the most balanced.
The other thing is that it was in the pocket of her cape, right?
Yeah.
So she's flying around with this cape and she's got a big pocket in the back, like a kangaroo pocket, but
yeah,
on the back.
With
It's actually pretty useful.
super useful.
Especially women typically having less pocket space. Sometimes no pockets, sometimes fake pockets on their jeans and stuff like that. I think that stuff's maybe getting a bit better in 2024, but still, we've got like, acres of like men pocket like goes down to our ankles.
Like almost too much pocket.
Yeah, but yeah, no, this would be a good addition. The cape pocket.
Well, I'm glad you brought it up actually, because I was not going to say anything until you said something. So I'm glad you said something. But
I think you should say that after every comment I make. So I'm glad someone brought this up.
I'm glad someone's talking about
someone's
this.
like watching Spider-Man the animated series and like, why is no one talking about this? This cape pocket.
Like angry comments about how women's clothes don't have enough pockets.
I mean, I would love if like we did this exact episode, but we had John Semper Jr. on as a guest, and just every single thing we'd say, he'd be like, bro, like, it's a fucking cartoon, man. Like, I had a deadline. It's like the first serialized storytelling in a Spider-Man cartoon. I was trying my best, man. You're talking about cape pockets, about the distribution of the Daily Bugle in Transylvania. Just, it's a fucking vampire in a cartoon, bro. Like,
he's just weeping on one end of the show. You just hear him like quietly crying as we talk shit about his one great creation.
Yeah.
To be fair, we deserve it. And it'd be like for some reason like 9 hours long.
Well, he made something. We're not. We didn't make anything.
We made something out of his. Yeah, we basically like pick up his sloppy seconds.
Yeah.
You know?
Mhm.
It's like fucking Danny DeVito in that one episode about Dennis method,
Oh,
where
yeah,
like
the Frank method, yeah.
the Frank method. Yeah, this is basically Frank methoding this entire podcast. We're talking about like our magnum dong as he goes out and does something.
I really hope the recording picked up the sirens I can hear past your window
Oh,
as
yeah,
you made
yeah,
that
yeah.
comment.
I'm going to jail, guys. Sorry.
Anyway, let's distract you. Let's get back to this.
Yeah.
Blade finding out a couple of things, not just that Morbius is back.
But he picks up half of a mysterious pendant
Yeah.
that he's also unhappy about. He's not having a good time as Blade. He's gonna have to pay like out of his ass for this like destroyed bicycle
Mhm.
or motorbike rather that he like crashed into a cliff.
Yeah, he's lost his the vampire. She was just like flown away, and he's
He's realized
discovered
Morbius is alive.
Morbius is alive, and he's discovered something that we don't know what it is yet.
And also if he's like mad about the state of women's pockets. He's realized that like the cape pocket is a thing that should be in more places in more women's pockets around the world. So he's equally upset about the plight of women's clothing.
No, it can't be.
We're coming back to New York, where Black Cat is now seen to be actively avoiding Spider-Man, until, in her words, she can explain why she's attracted to him. And to that I say, yeah, good luck with that. Anyway, Spider-Man reveals that Morbius hasn't attacked anyone for days, and for a brief moment, I thought maybe he just died off screen, and we don't have to deal with any more Morbius and go on to better shit. But unfortunately, we cut straight to Morbius. And now, like, the way this is depicted, right? So, what kind of looks like a regular guy, or maybe someone who's like a bit down on his luck, goes into an alleyway, and like Morbius is like doubled over like a wall, and
Okay, yeah,
I
I'm
have to
just wondering if you picked up the exact thing that I thought, and maybe this is living in a city, right?
yeah, this is like if you're living in a city, right? If you see someone like stance like that, at best they're pissing on the wall. At best, you do not go over and talk to that person because they have their dick out 100%.
I will say, like, and this, of course, put some stills on the blog, which you can click in the description of this episode, and it will go on Instagram and the Tumblr and stuff like that. Maybe one of the other million fucking sites there are now. I just put it up on the screen for Henry. He's he's hunched over the wall with one hand on the wall, his legs apart. He's next to trash cans. He's in between windows. And he's hunched over a bit, and you can't see his other arm, and he's looking down. It is 100% the stance of a man doing an alley piss.
At best, an alley piss. It's either that or like that one episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia with that like bomb just jerking off into a corner.
Yeah, it could be that too, but I want to go back to the piss because it makes me feel less upset to think about.
Either way, and if you're in a big city at any point and you see somebody like this, do not go up to them. At best, you're getting pissed on. At best.
You see a guy looking like this, right? A pale guy with spiked hair who is wearing like a leather duster. Another It's Always Sunny reference. But he's wearing that, leaning against a wall like that, and it is presumably a homeless man who finds him.
I think that it wasn't clear, but I can see that a homeless man would know better.
And
It's my only kind of counter argument.
Well, because he looks like a guy who's just come out from the club and is maybe coked up, either way, like definitely inebriated, drunk, and he's gone for a pee. And that is actually kind of a dangerous guy to fuck with at that point, because at best, like, if that was me, I'd be like, what? Why are you talking to me? Can you, like, give me a second? You know, that's the best interaction you're going to have. And if it's not that, then it could be, like, violent. It could be anything. But either way, it's a special private time in a man's life where he pees in an alley.
Let's let him be. That's how you get stabbed in New York.
But I do think as well, like, I mean, this has got to be our episode image this week, surely. Just like, it's just like a description of the show, just Morbius next to some trash cans.
We're the homeless person, and the wall is the podcast.
Yeah.
The wall is Anyway, Morbius kind of scares him off. He's kind of like, yeah, get out of here, asshole. Because he's like, I don't want to have to suck you off. Which is another thing will happen if you try and like approach a guy in an alleyway in New York.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, buddy, you okay?
Stay away from me. Go!
in this episode, and I do think it makes Morbius a lot more tolerable this time, is that he's resisting feeding on people. Whereas before,
He's changed his habits.
yeah, before he would complain all the time about it, and then
Yeah.
still like hospitalize multiple people, and then be like, "Oh, I'm so sad." Someone's like, "Oh, I've got this gun that can help you," and then he's like, "Oh, but I'd rather kill some people," and then feel sad about it instead, and then goes off again. And it's very repetitive. And here he's actually like, leave me alone. I was flying around in the sky. I came down here just to pee.
Yeah. I don't want to piss on you from like 300 feet in the air. Okay, just let me do my thing.
Yeah.
I just think he had to hit rock bottom before he like actually started to change, really. Which is often the case with addicts.
Yeah. And I think, well, actually, you know what? If you can fly, why not just like hover over the Hudson and pee there like a bird?
I mean, probably a better idea than whatever he's doing in this goddamn alleyway, right?
Mhm.
So, yeah, this homeless man runs off to live another day, and the vampire that Blade was chasing kind of like swings down to him to be like, "Hey, what's up?" And she reveals that she has a psychic link with him because he's a vampire, even though he's a kind of vampire that is like created through mad science. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, it's the
I'm not gonna
it's the
question it.
confirmation that like the neogenic vampire thing didn't give him the vampire DNA. It just made him a vampire, which is
Yeah, which is more absurd to me.
yeah. And I know like technically the whole thing with Morbius is that he's a way of doing a vampire without doing a vampire, but
Like violating like Bram Stoker's copyright like law.
right. I'm pretty sure. I mean, we'll have to go back and listen to our own episode, the first episode on Morbius when we did the comic origins, and also we spoke about Blade's comic origins back there. So go back to season 2 if you want to hear those. But there's a thing right in the 70s where they had a bunch of vampire stories, and then Morbius was science vampire. That was like the interesting thing, is that it was different, but
I mean,
kind
like,
of similar.
interesting is a stretch.
Yeah, but like that was the hook anyway, is that he's not
Yeah.
quite a vampire. He's a bit different.
He's technically a vampire, but not really.
So it is interesting in this, like we know that vampires exist because Blade, like otherwise what is Blade doing? But yeah, no, it's interesting that he that this episode they're like, yeah, he's a vampire, fuck it.
Fuck it. I mean, I guess like the alternative is to explain it, and it's stupid. But the what we get here is instead her being like, "I can read your mind because you got bitten by a bat one time while doing science," and she basically wants to read his mind to discover where the neogenic recombinator is
Yeah.
and how to make vampires out of it. But the problem with that is that Morbius doesn't know. He doesn't know why he's a vampire.
Yeah.
And the second problem is that they required Spider-Man's blood, which again he doesn't know.
Yeah. Well, I guess he tries to replicate it, right? In the Immortal Vampire episode in season 2.
I don't. They all kind of blend into one at this point. I
The
have no
last one
idea.
he's in that ends up turning him into a bat.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
presumably he replicated it and knows how to do that. I can't remember if he stole more of Peter's blood or not. I'm assuming not.
I feel like there's lots of things that have to happen in that case.
The other question is, right, the prospect of like a big 4-foot gun that turns people into vampires versus the old school method. Well, I don't know how it works in this, like, because it's plasma draining. Like,
If she's not as a bite people.
presumably people can turn vampires in this world still as vampires.
But you'd think that. But then it's not happened so far yet.
Yeah. Interesting.
So like, yeah, I think there's just like blood bags at this point. My third question on this is how the fuck did she know that there's a gun that exists? Is the Bugle like publishing in this?
Oh,
Has there been like a 12-part series in the Bugle?
well, Kurt Connors did do a press conference where he said, "Sorry, I created a vampire," right?
And she was like watching TV and was like, "Vampire, eh?"
You know what? ESU needs less press, right? Like, this gun has caused a lot of problems. Like, almost every problem in the city has been caused by this gun. And
Yeah.
and he's going on record of being like, "Hey guys, I'm Kurt Connors. I do a lot of stuff with neogenics. Remember the neogenic recombinator? Here it is over here. Sorry, we created a Scorpion Man. I didn't do it. Someone else did it with this gun here. I'm going to put this gun in the supply closet of the ESU lab. No one steal it, please." And then someone steals it every time.
So what you're saying is that America should advocate for more gun control.
Yeah.
You know, like this is like the main problem with gun control is that like you can make giant vampire guns and vampires can take it. There's no such thing as a good vampire with a gun.
Mhm.
per se.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying.
Morbius, I am Miriam. I too am a vampire, and I have come a long way for you.
Miriam, how did you find me?
Once you became a vampire, you gained a psychic link with me and others just like us. I need your knowledge of the machine that can turn humans into vampires.
No!
Anyway, vampire lady, she reads Morbius's mind, which she can apparently do, and she gets like the information she needs to go off and like steal this neogenic gun. And she starts with our good friend Langdon. She flies in through his window, and I know that it's like NYPD are doing their best, but Jesus, like if you know what happened to Langdon, you should be prepared for a vampire to fly in at any moment, and they're just not prepared. The cop is like, oh shit, we left the window open. And then, like, the one thing you have to do to vampire-proof this room, you didn't do. And then the vampire flies in, reads Herbert Langdon's mind, and then from there goes off to Kingpin's, like, lair.
Well,
It's a very funny...
he also stops by Debra and Flash, right?
Oh, she does that afterwards. So she goes to Kingpin's lab first to be like, here's the gun. Oh, the gun's gone. And Kingpin's like, oh no! And they go off to the lab. And this is where, like, first of all, Flash is still here.
Yeah.
Flash is like, hey, so, we're still going out, right? It's okay, Deborah. I don't think he's made the connection between the Herbert Foundation and Herbert Langdon, because he's like, who would have known that the Herbert Foundation was so crooked? Which I think is very funny, because he just hasn't been paying attention.
Also, like, yeah, because he's saying that in response to Debra being like, it's all my fault. And I'm thinking, like, yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. I mean,
It was 100%
like,
her fault.
I mean, even if you're giving her the benefit of the doubt, you did start this series of events. You know, like,
Yeah.
this is...
Objectively, that's what happened. Try not to blame yourself, but it was a responsibility. And it all happened because you did this. These are the consequences of your actions. Like, literally.
Mhm.
As well as Flash, Clay is there. I am pleasantly surprised that Clay is alive. Because, like,
Yeah.
at this point, all he has to do is put on a red shirt, and he hasn't done it yet. But, he's still alive.
I think this is John Semper Jr. had to have an actual martial arts fight with like 5 executives in order to keep this character alive.
He almost, like, lost his job because they wanted him to kill the black man
I mean,
in this episode.
honestly, like, what's this, 97? I think that's how it was.
Yeah.
I think that's the level we were at in 97.
Like, the studios were like, if you don't kill the black man, the audience won't understand what's going on.
Yeah, and we'll get. I'm a broken record with. We'll get into this later, but there's a lot of stuff in this show that like Semper Jr. like seems. I mean, I'm sure it's a team effort, you know, but like he pushed to include stuff that seems kind of normal now, but wasn't then, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that includes stuff like Clayton, who didn't exactly have a lasting influence on the public consciousness. And
Yeah.
also Terry Lee, who is also kind of forgotten, but like, you know, got more
She has,
going
like,
on.
lines
Yeah.
and like
Personality.
Yeah, she does things. So yeah, Spider-Man kind of swings in to find the aforementioned Terry Lee, just as like Deborah and Flash and Clay have been casted off, and I have to feel that Flash has to like dump Deborah at this point because things keep on happening to him
Yeah.
as a result of being around this woman.
hmm
She doesn't even like appear to like him.
Yeah, at a certain point, wouldn't he just like swear off dating? Because I'm pretty sure very early on in the show, he hits on Felicia and immediately gets attacked by a giant spider robot.
Yeah, maybe someone's trying to say something there, Flash Thompson.
You know what?
But
If I lived in the city, I'd just stay the fuck inside.
Yeah,
Like people
Like,
like
literally,
walking their
like-
dogs and getting attacked by spider robots.
yeah.
Vampires on the streets.
What a horrible hellhole that New York City is. You know. Good God.
Is this another one of your gags, Flash Thompson?
No! Felicia, run! It's after me again! Help!
Mommy, it's a big bug. I want one. Trooper! No! Trooper!
3 of them, barely conscious. Severe plasma depletion.
Morbius.
Black Cat arrives on the scene as Terry Lee like starts to blame Morbius for what's going on. and they both go off together to find Whistler. Or more accurately, Black Cat goes off by herself as Spider-Man follows her, complete with a pun, which I'm not going to repeat here because it was bad.
Sorry, Cat. I have a stake in this too. No vampire pun intended.
We haven't seen her since.
That whole situation with Blade.
So the last time we saw her, Blade was like, I have to go out and fight more vampires, give her a kiss, see you later. She looks sad. Then we don't see her for like 2 seasons?
2 years at this point, yeah.
It's crazy.
It's pretty nuts, actually. Oh god, Morbius was so long ago. Anyway, yeah. So we go to Whistler, who, for what it's worth, is not happy to see Spider-Man again. He's kind of like, oh, this asshole. Going to Black Cat, he's like, are you actually going to kill Morbius this time, or is this like a weird plot for you to have sex with him again? Because I'm kind of over that as a concept. I don't think that works. And as like Black Cat's talking to Whistler, Spider-Man's like, why does she care for Morbius? I don't know how he hasn't figured this out yet, because she's talking about Morbius, and Spider-Man, like, he knows there's only one person who gives a shit whether or not Morbius dies or lives.
Mhm.
He knows there's one person, and he's like, well, there must be 2 people now who give a shit about Morbius, Black
Yeah.
Cat and Felicia.
I feel like this is definitely the time for him to figure it out if he had any kind of detective ability. But
But she clearly doesn't.
But yeah, no, I mean, I guess there are those people, right, who are like, they're like,
Got stupid.
but like people who are like super smart in biology, right? But then you put them in a situation where they have to like be intuitive and pick up on reading stuff from other people, and they just cannot. Their brains don't do that.
They just fumble.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's definitely one of those. He's not Batman. We'll say that much.
Yeah, you can say that again. He's barely man. At this point, Terry Lee crashes the party, and like Whistler's hideout at this point is just a theater, and like I'm surprised no one has found him yet.
You know what it is? It's a sign of the decline of cinemas, because
Yeah.
they've got like they changed the film they're showing. I think this time it's the film Eyes Without a Face, which
Alright.
is a great French horror movie that maybe isn't the thing you put on your abandoned theater when you're trying to get one person to come in.
Yeah.
And no
Put
one's
on
coming for
Waterworld
that.
or something. Put on Waterworld or like Batman and Robin.
Or the Borderlands movie.
Yeah, it should be the Borderlands movie. Then no one will come in.
That's such a
Yeah,
funny
Whistler's
premise. It's like that meme of like the Dragon Ball Z thing where they're like, this fight where there's no one around, and then they go to the Madam Web theater.
They should have done that, yeah. They should put the Morbius movie on, and then no one would come. Even Morbius would be like, I'm not touching that chip with the 10-foot pole.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this kind of precedes a incredibly awkward road trip. Like, what the fuck is going on
I laughed
here?
so hard when they did the hard cut to this next scene where Whistler, the way it's animated, Whistler's like driving wheel is his wheel is like almost up to his forehead. Like he's so low in the
Like,
seat.
it came loose, and he's just like, I'm just like using the pedals at this point.
Well, I think what it is that like that Blade is like a good like 2 feet taller than him, and he doesn't know how to adjust the seat.
Whistler's like 4'11", and he's like, well, I guess can you just navigate for me because I actually can't see where I'm going. And they're like having like an awkward conversation about like basically Terry's like, so how's Blade doing? Is he seeing anyone new?
Yeah.
And you just know from this point that as soon as Blade shows up, she's gonna like fucking melt again. But the funniest thing about this is that Spider-Man and Black Cat are just like on the roof of this car.
There's a few different ways to interpret this, and one of them is that they're not allowed in the car because they're as costumed
like Spider-Man
fighters.
smells really bad.
Honestly, like they're both people who wear skin tight outfits, run around all day, definitely sweating.
One of them's full of milk.
But not the one that you'd think.
Yeah. I really should put all these milk packets away.
It's because Peter Parker's so fucking broke. He's like in the cafe, like shoving packets of milk into his pockets.
He's like, this is my breakfast, bitch. I can't afford actual food.
They're the effectively dirty dogs that are just like,
Yeah.
you're not allowed in the car.
They're bicycles. He like
Yeah,
moved his
they're bi-
bicycles out of the way.
The bi-
And like Spider-Man can swing. He could just like he didn't have to get in the car.
Well, yeah.
He could have like, I'll just swing behind you.
She has a grappling hook too. But yeah, no, the other thing is just the idea that they're just like weird. So it's just like, no, we don't want to go in this van. Like, we'll just hang out on top. That is more comfortable for us.
There's so much like room in the back, but nah, I'm good. And they kind of have their own conversation where like Spider-Man's like, so why do you give a shit about Morbius? And it's like, well, first of all, me and you both, buddy. I don't know why anyone gives a shit about Morbius. And also, like, how have you not figured out that it's Felicia yet, you idiot? And like, she kind of accidentally throws him off the trail here because she says something like, someone close to me was affected by vampirism. And I'm like, what an insane answer to my question.
Yeah, it's both kind of like, it's very
Stupid.
dumb and genius at the same time, because it's kind of like, it's almost like the most simple lie of like, I don't have to have any follow-up lies for this because it explains the situation, but it's just so close to the truth, but also like, yeah, I guess there's examples of vampirism happening all the time, and this was just one story about it.
It is New York after all.
Yeah. Also, maybe she's like, okay, if he can't figure out the connection now, because like she doesn't know he's Peter, right? So she has less ways to figure out he's Peter. But she knows that she met Spider-Man as someone who was trying to save Morbius. And here she's trying to hide it, knowing that he knows that she has a close relationship, that Felicia has a close relationship to Morbius. So she has every reason to cover her tracks. But maybe at that point she's just like, I don't think this guy's ever going to figure it out. So I'll just be like, yeah.
I'm like dropping hints so many times.
I knew a different vampire where all the stuff that happened to Morbius happened to this other guy as well.
Yeah.
He was called Matthew
Milkius.
Wait, his nickname was Milky. We called him Milkius.
Yeah.
You know, he was the hottest guy. He came from a country where they eat turtles. He wore a big, long leather jacket. He had an experiment happen where a flying rodent came through that wasn't a bat.
It was actually like a flying fox. Or like a...
And it, like, smashed his experiment, and then he got bit by a vampire.
Just, like, unrelated. Yeah. And Spider-Man's like, well, that's such a coincidence. Who would have... What are the odds of this happening twice? Anyway, he's not picking this up, really.
Cat, why are you so interested in Morbius?
Someone close to me once became a victim of vampirism. This isn't the time to talk about it.
They go to a warehouse, they come across a vampire that it turns out is not Morbius. And they get into a nice big old fight where Morbius saves Felicia from the Vampire Queen, and Blow shows up being like, hold on guys, this vampire's my mother. And the funniest part about this for me is not that she didn't know that Blade was around, but she calls him Blade, like that's the actual name she gave him when he gave birth to him. Blade? Is that you?
Yeah, that's true, because I'm trying to remember what his name is in the... Oh, what was his name? His name is like, it's something Brooks.
It's certainly not Blade.
Yeah, it's something like Marcus Brooks or something like that.
It's a normal ass name. But she's like, oh, my son Blade. Little baby Blade.
Yeah.
Baby Blade said his first words. Well, his first word was mama, but his second word was fucker for some reason.
The kind of person who names their son Blade is also the kind of person who would love to be a vampire, you know?
Yeah. If you name a child Blade, like, there's a 75% they're gonna grow up to hunt vampires. That's like... You should know that at that point. Anyway, yeah, so Whistler helpfully points out that his mother's a vampire. Where it's like, yeah, good job, Whistler. We were all like slowly uptake there. And then she flies off with some parts. And Blade is like, guys, you can't hurt her because I have to figure out a way to kill her. And Terry's like, you should probably kill her. And Blade has this look like, bitch! Which I think is really funny. He's just like, God damn it. This is why we didn't work out.
Right. They have completely flipped their position since their last meeting, where she was like, don't kill Morbius, you shouldn't kill people. And now this whole episode she's like, you know what? I was wrong. We should kill Morbius as soon as possible.
Yeah. Kill the shit out of Morbius.
Yeah, and I do like the thing of like them mistaking her victim Miriam, her victims. that Miriam. I don't know when they name Miriam, but
I think at this point, Blade says, this is Miriam, who is my mother.
right, yeah.
And she's like, Blade?
And also should mention Miriam. Do you know who she's voiced by?
Is it Janet Hubert?
It's Nichelle Nichols, Uhura, the OG.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's like a hell of a
Damn.
pull.
It's a hell of a pull.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Because now you say it, I can...
It also makes me wonder, like, people must have been super stoked when she came in to record.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
Yeah, probably.
So she's Miriam, and Miriam's been framing Morbius kind of by accident, I guess.
Kind of, yeah.
And then Blade.
Because I guess there's not more than one vampire in the whole city, Spider-Man.
Yeah. I also find it funny in this scene that, like, at one point, Terry is so hard on the we need to kill these vampires. She straight up tries to stab Miriam in the head.
Yeah. It's kind of baller.
Yeah, it was kind of like, oh, okay, that's like, you're not showing everything because you're a cartoon, but like, she's going for it.
She's about to make a shish kebab out.
Yeah, that's not even how you
amazing.
kill a vampire. That's just like...
She doesn't care.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm gonna stab a bitch. That's all my police training coming into effect. Oh my god. Anyway, yeah, Blade is like, don't fucking follow me. And he destroys what I'm realizing now is a vampire tracker, which is a thing that we just like skated right over.
Yeah.
That like Terry has a thing to track vampires with.
Yeah, and Spider-Man's looking at that being like, it's weird how there aren't lots of those, considering one of them bit the Black Cat's friend.
Yeah. Hey, wasn't your friend in one of these things?
Yeah, it must have been this one vampire. Was it Morbius?
Right. She's like, no. He's like, oh, my mistake. Never mind.
It must have been in New Jersey, yeah.
Yeah. Clearly. I watched that show, like a Sopranos, but with vampires. Anyway, he kind of drives off on his bike, which apparently he either drove back to Europe or he has like spares back at home. Because that thing is probably still on the cliff somewhere. Anyway, this is when they go back to the theater where Waterworld is still playing. And Whistler gives Morbius the serum he uses for Blade to keep him human. Which is, you think, going to be a problem for Blade later, where he's like, oh shit, I'm turning into a vampire. Whistler, where are those serums? And Whistler has to be like, oh.
But the fact that that's not an issue asks the question, why hadn't they tried this last time?
I guess Felicia was like, what if we try to help him? And everyone was like, we actually didn't think about that.
Yeah, everyone's a bit more on the side of
him?
helping Morbius this time. More so, apart from
Yeah.
Terry, obviously.
I guess like, everyone else has been trying to get rid of him for so long. They're like, this isn't working. We have to, like, if you can't beat them, then join them.
I really thought that there was going to be more of that conflict of like Peter being like, wow, this keeps happening. Maybe we should take him down. What should we do? And then Felicia getting upset that he said that because she's like, no, we have to save him. But he's very much like, yeah, no, we should give him a chance, like in every situation here.
Yeah.
And they give him the blade juice.
Yeah, the little blade juice. And Morbius basically replaces the vampire tracker now.
Yeah.
Which is good. So Whistler is like, asks us to sympathize with Blade because his mother's the only person that he's known. It's what's really funny here that Spider-Man is like, oh yeah, I lost my parents too. It's really sad. And Whistler just like does not give a shit. He's like, well, anyway.
Yeah.
Like, no one cares. And Whistler is like, once you go vampire, you never go back.
Pyre.
Backpire.
Yeah. Which is like, okay, but like apart from that one guy that we know, and also this other guy who's right here.
So like 0 for 2, but trust me on this. So do you remember what I said 5 minutes ago about Blade saying not to follow him? Next scene is like Blade like coming up to Terry being like, I know I said not to follow me, but hey, how's it going? And the second that like Blade shows any kind of vulnerability, like Terry like jumps into his arms, be like, oh Blade, I missed you so much. It's really funny to me considering how like she's really like stoic in the car with Whistler being like, yeah, it's probably best we didn't get together, you know. I was like over him. We weren't right for each other.
Yeah.
And then as soon as Blade comes back, she's like, where have you been? I love you so much. Why did you leave me?
They get into it and he says, you are the one that showed me the beauty of feeling with my heart. Which,
all this bullshit. He's laying it all thick.
Yeah.
Fucking ghosted her for like 2 years.
But it's funny to me because imagine if that scene was in a show now. Everyone would, well, not everyone, but there would be a subset of people who would be so mad that the cool character of Blade has feelings and has, oh, you're shoving in this woman character who is making him feel feelings, and he's meant to be a cool guy, and now he's got to be sensitive because of the woke mind virus, you know?
Yeah.
Whenever I see stuff like that in this era, it's always funny because it's like, this is so long ago now. This is 30 years ago. Almost 30 years ago.
Men are allowed to have feelings, guys. Because, like, literally, like, all men are meant to do is be horny and mad.
Yeah.
And, like, 30 years ago, we figured it out. And yeah, like, you're right. Like, now people will have a go at him for, like, showing basic emotions like, oh, love.
Mm-hmm.
My mother is a vampire and I want to, like, help her. Because all men should be just, like, psychopaths all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But my personal headcanon is that Blade is just saying whatever he needs to do to get some ass later. He's like...
Well, speaking of, he does do, after they embrace and kiss, he says, as usual, don't follow me, and walks away.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's some fuckboy shit. Like, that's
some fuckboy shit.
That's very funny that he says that. It's not just that he says it, it's that he's like, as usual, when we meet up.
Yeah.
Do not try and track me afterwards. Okay, she's just meant to go on faith that he's actually out there doing work and not like in a different borough of the city partying.
He's like hooking up with that taxi driver from season 2 or season 3.
Yeah.
That Mousy.
Oh yeah, Mousy. Oh shit, Mousy. I wonder if she'll ever come back.
I don't think so. I think she's got better things to do. She heard Morbius was around. She was like, no, actually.
That would have spiced up this two-parter.
It was like a bit of a love triangle within like Terry and Blade.
Oh yeah, if you got like
and
you got like two love triangles happening at the same time.
Yeah, I'd probably watch. Like, I'd probably like be in for that. You know, watch that.
Where is Blade these days?
He was tracking down a dangerous vampire in Eastern Europe, but I have not heard from him in days. You were wise not to try to have a relationship with him. It would have been hard on you.
Tell me something I don't know.
I am sorry about last night. You were the one who showed me the beauty of feeling with my heart.
I understand, but I'm so scared for you.
As long as I have your love, I am strong. But I must go now. And as before, please, don't try to follow me.
This brings us quite nicely to Peter's apartment, where he's basically like getting changed into Spider-Man again, but he realizes his mask is torn because of something Blade did.
Yeah,
which I don't buy. But
they had a bit of a tumble. I think he's got those studs all over his jacket.
Oh, yeah.
So he probably just bumped into him.
Just like winged him at some point. So he takes his spare mask and he like puts it like in his drawer, but doesn't close the drawer, so the mask is just like poking out. And then as he's getting ready, like Harry knocks on the door, and at this point, Harry hasn't spoken to Peter for like 3 months.
Yeah, he's just moved in, and just like immediately, every time Harry's like, "Oh, you moved in," I thought we'd have one conversation. And then he's like,
hey, you know how my
dad
dad disappeared, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And
do you know my dad disappeared? My ex-girlfriend disappeared. I'm really like vulnerable and sad. Harry have like one conversation, and Peter's like, nah.
And that's the whole reason we moved in together, is to be supportive of each other during this time where the woman we both love disappeared as well.
It was Peter's idea.
Yeah. And he's out of the window again. But also, like, I'm just like, with him not knowing he's Spider-Man, is he just like, I think the regular human man I'm living with is jumping out of the window every time he has to talk to me.
And also, like, he's not paying rent, so he's just like...
Yeah.
If anything, at this point, like, finding out he's Spider-Man's probably like a relief. He's like, oh, yeah, I guess you weren't, like, avoiding me, you were just, like, going out and, like, saving the city, right?
Right, yeah. So he finds the mask, right?
Yeah, he finds the mask, and he's like, oh my god, Peter Spider-Man. But then Peter would be like, actually, no, I was just, like, avoiding you, but I was doing it in a better way because I'm Spider-Man. I also wasn't going to do anything.
Yeah.
I was going to pick up a pizza.
Pete, can I come in? Look, Pete, this won't take long. That's weird.
But back in Whistler's hideout, and this is another funny bit here for me, where, like, Whistler's, like, kind of remarking, like, you guys have really had the hops of vampires, don't you? Terry and Blade, you and Morbius. What's it going to take for me to get some action? Some fangs?
Yeah.
And it's a really funny quip, but then, like, Felicia hasn't heard it because she's walking away mid-sentence to talk to Morbius. I mean, she's like, oh yeah, whatever.
It is very funny because, like, Whistler is like he's a very like kind of boring neutral character in this.
Yeah,
he's very much just giving them the stuff they need whenever they need it. Like, here's a gun that can stop Morbius. And then he's just witnessing all this stuff, and he is just fair enough. He's just like, yeah, like 100% of the women I have spoken to, as someone who lives in a theater basement,
Who's someone who trains vampires?
yeah, they're into vampires. He's just like, why not me? And she's just like, I'm going to leave now.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I wasn't listening to what you were saying. Bye.
I was too busy thinking about vampires.
I was too busy being like lusting off of my vampire friend. At this point, like Whistler's like going to like forums, like trying to get like his like vampire maxing on. He's like shaving himself fangs and like whitening his skin.
The whole vampire question of like, why do women like vampires? It's funny hearing him say that, because that is something which has persisted. Guys still get angry online about women liking vampire stories.
Yeah. And there's probably like a whole like thing in there we could like dive into, but we're not going to do that because we have too much to get through.
Mhm.
Anyway, we're now, so Morbius would like have a nice little sweet moment, which I actually have no jokes about because it's just generally nice. She is signing herself away, but like, you know, it's a thing.
Yeah, she's like, if you need help, like, I'll be like by your side forever, helping you
Yeah.
be a vampire without hurting people.
Yeah. Which is fair enough.
What is the attraction you women have to vampires? Detective Lee loves Blade. You love Morbius. What am I missing? Fangs, maybe?
Michael?
Felicia, I do not know if I can rely on the serum for the rest of my life.
Maybe if someone were by your side, giving you strength, someone like me.
You would do that for me?
Next, we're at like a nightclub, and these two characters walk into like an alleyway, which, again, in New City, do not approach someone in an alleyway. Don't do it. And the vampire queen, Miriam, as we now know her, she's been hanging out with her vampire guns, waiting for someone to talk to her. And she shoots these two people with a vampire gun. We don't see what happens to them. But then we cut back to the theater where Terry's been hanging out outside, and Spider-Man's like, hey, what's up? And he's like, do you want to come in? And Terry's like, nah, I'm going to go home. Spider-Man's like, yeah, probably for the best. Probably should fuck
Yeah, it's kind of like, because I did have this thought in an earlier scene where she's like, what do we do now? And it's like, you clock off and go
We?
home. We
Yeah.
have superpowers. This guy has a lifetime of hunting vampires. You are a cop.
At this point, as a cop, you'd be taken off the case because your ex-boyfriend's involved.
Yeah.
You're an emotionally compromised cop. And we cut back to the nightclub, and it basically becomes like the opening scene from like the first Blade movie, where like it's like Blade in the middle of this like nightclub, and everyone's like, "Hey, nice suit." He goes to track down his mom, who's in the basement of this nightclub.
Yeah, which is called the dungeon. And he's walking
Of
in
course
there
it
in
is.
a leather outfit, and it looks normal to everyone.
He's like stepping over a guy in like a leash.
Yeah, I think this
Not
club
vulgar.
is called the Gothic Castle.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, and at some point, it's gonna rain blood from the ceiling.
I wish.
I wish that'd be awesome.
We're gonna jack you up! Make them hurt bad!
So yeah, he goes down to the basement and he's like, hey, so mom, let's cure you. And she's like, actually, I want to turn the whole world into vampires, basically. And he's like, what? He takes it really, really fucking badly.
Well, yeah, it's kind of the opposite of what he thought was going to happen.
Actually, like, I'm going to abandon you harder now. And like the two vampires who were the two nightclub goers that we saw earlier, they like hold him down. And she's about to like shoot him with the vampire gun that she made.
Mhm.
And then, like, basically Spider-Man stops her. It blows a hole in the wall that she leaves out of. And Morbius is like, I'll stop her. And this is something I'm going to call the Morbius touch, where everything he touches turns to shit. Because what happens is they get back into this big dance hall. She's holding the gun, and Morbius is fighting her. And the gun keeps going off and reflecting off the disco ball and turning everyone in the room into vampires.
Yeah, it's so much worse.
Great job, Morbius. Thanks. It really helped out. And then Blade kind of walks out being like, oh shit, I've really fucked up now. He kind of gives up. And then Terry rolls by in her car to be like, don't give up yet, I love you, or something.
Yeah, like
And Blade's like,
he's powered by her belief.
which is something, I guess. And yeah, I'm glad she did that. And the vampire uprising lasts about as long as it takes Blade to climb to the roof of this building. He kind of walks up and he's like, throws a grenade. And everyone who was like turned into vampire falls to the ground. And then Miriam drops the gun explodes, and they turn back into normal people.
Yeah.
Which is 100% not how it works, because if that was the case, then Spider-Man and Morbius would both be cured instantly.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, at the very least, Morbius.
Because they all been affected by the neogenic recombinator, but they're fine. Anyway, so Blade decides at this point, because Miriam escapes, he's like, I'm gonna follow her. And I'm gonna prove to her that I'm her only son. Which, dude, she can count. She knows that. She called you Blade earlier. What are you trying to prove to her? He should honestly go and see a therapist at this point.
Will you be all right?
Oh, yeah. I feel giddy with delight.
He kind of like goes on his bike. He at least Harry behind us all like embracing a kiss. And he just leaves without saying anything to Whistler. Like, not even like a, hey, can you take Dawson's Creek later? Just like a, fuck off, Whistler. He just walks off like wordlessly.
Yeah.
The Black Cat does the same thing to Spider-Man, saying like, I've got to go. But as she's leaving, she's like, oh, by the way, I love you. And it's great because if Spider-Man didn't have abandonment issues before, he definitely does now.
Mm-hmm.
So the last scene, which I'm sure we'll get to.
Right.
We'll get to in a second.
Yeah.
Because like I heard it too. So basically, this leaves Spider-Man and Terry like sitting on the side of the road, and then like Terry's radio goes off to say like, oh, by the way, 9/11 is happening.
Yeah, I spat out my drink when this happened. It made me laugh so hard. I think it's the specific phrasing I wrote down is a 9/11 is in progress.
She's like, oh, I'm gonna go. 9/11 is happening. And like Spider-Man is like, oh, I'm gonna swing off the opposite direction now.
Here we are, dazed and totally confused.
Yeah, we're a regular Lonely Hearts Club.
1 Adam 0, 0. There's a 9/11 in progress.
I guess it's time for me to get back to work.
It's funnier in this show because of stuff like her saying like, oh yeah, my friend got bit by a vampire, and him being like, yes, yeah, sounds about right. You know, like this idea of like crazy stuff is happening all the time. They go through this whole huge thing. The love of his life is, well, not love of his life, but like his current love is leaving him, and then it's just like, oh, I guess I gotta go. 9/11 happened while we were doing this.
Shit. Okay. Master of Disguise finished filming. Arguably with a greater tragedy.
Yeah. The big thing of this ending, though, is that Black Cat is not just leaving or like stopping crime fighting. She's joining Morbius to join Blade to track down Miriam.
Blade is kind of like, I guess if you want to do that, I'm not going to stop you. And Morbius' line here is really funny because it's like basically like, he'll grow accustomed to us, he'll get used to us being around. Eventually, he might even like us.
Yeah.
Which is probably like part of Avi Arad's pitch meeting to actually make the Morbius movie.
Yeah.
Eventually, if we keep on doing this, people will be like, okay with this, right?
Exactly, yeah.
And they probably won't have to go start another TV show that I'm never going to watch.
Yeah. I couldn't find anything about this online, but I'm pretty convinced that this was a backdoor pilot that never went through. Because
there's a terrible idea.
Blade was not happening at this point in history. You know, like he never had a consistent, like ongoing comic series. This was part of the revival of him, and then going from his appearances in this show to the movie coming out afterwards, and the movie defining a lot of things about Blade that weren't in the comics before.
Like set in stone. Yeah.
So I think they were like, we can make a Blade series, and this episode, that first bit is kind of like, this is what it could look like. He's chasing someone in Transylvania, and then at the end, they're like, so that more people will watch it, bring in more people, I guess, through having Morbius there and the Black Cat.
Yeah.
And he can have a team that he's begrudgingly likes, but doesn't really like and complains about. But, like, you know, they're the core three people on the team, and maybe Whistler as well.
Maybe his good friend Morbius will show up to wish him good luck.
Yeah. I'm 100% thinking that this was the case here. Because there is somewhere else that that's what the Doctor Strange cameo was meant to be. Like that was meant to be a backdoor pilot for Doctor Strange. And that never happened, and they're trying to with Blade, I guess, here. And again, like, there was no movement on that.
And there's also the Daredevil one as well, right?
Oh, yeah,
like,
yeah, Daredevil. Yeah, that one is more clear,
that just
I
came
think.
to nothing.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm surprised it didn't actually happen. But I guess people Like, I guess
People were smarter back then.
all the executives just like were like, nah, no one cares about Blade.
Yeah, no one cares about Morbius or Blade. We have too much money to just throw it away like this. Imagine a future where like there was a Blade series and a Morbius movie. What a sad future that would be.
You know, that took me a second. That took me a second to remember Sticky Fingers.
How can you forget Sticky Fingers? I personally can't. The fucking DVD's sitting in my living room right now.
Yeah.
Bastard.
Yeah, check out our Patreon if you want to hear us talk about Blade, the series, the live-action Blade series that happened, as well as a bunch of other.
It barely
Blade
happened.
films. Yeah.
It was basically like a YouTube series. It was that level of production value.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, Spider-Man like swings it off, kind of remarking that life can't get worse than this, and predictably, he is wrong.
Yeah, I don't know why he would say
His
this.
life's about to get a whole lot worse. He just jinxed it. What's the worst that could go wrong from here? And that brings us quite nicely to the end of this episode.
Black Cat's left me, Felicia's gone, and Mary Jane's still missing. Well, at least there's nowhere to go from here but up.
Yeah, that's the end of episode 7 of season 4. Partners in Danger, part 7. This is a hot cheese nightmare, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's there was a point where I was like, about the point where the Vampire Queen that goes through like Langdon and Kingpin and Debra, where I was like, they're fucking rusting this shit. This isn't gonna be a two-parter because they're flying through this. The pacing is awful. But I feel like a lot of the time the pacing isn't very good on these shows.
Yeah. I tell you what, I think what this episode is, there's a bunch of stuff I don't care about, a bunch of stuff that like is rushed. I think I was disappointed that they didn't follow up much with like stuff like Langdon or Debra. Really, like Debra gets the one scene where she's like feeling bad about it and then goes to the hospital for plasma draining, and then that's it. And presumably is fine. There's not really much of a resolution, even though they introduced the idea of her being emotionally connected to Morbius, and then doesn't actually have any meeting with Morbius when he's conscious. Which just cements it as being a weird fixation she had.
A weird crush. Yeah.
We were thinking like, oh, what's going to happen with like Langdon gets like his plasma absorbed. He has a mutation. Would that do something to Morbius? You know, like would that do something to Langdon? And it's like, nah, he just went to the hospital and that's kind of it.
Yeah. Morbius is just like a bit less happy to be a vampire.
Langdon should be in jail, right?
Yeah. I think he's about to be in jail.
Because he did like some horrific attempted crimes. I still think you can go to jail for attempted genocide.
He should probably be in front of the Hague.
Yeah. After that, he turned into a giant monster as well. He did a bunch of destruction. Then he reverted to how he was before. I can't remember what happened in that transition where he went from there to working with Kingpin. But
basically, Kingpin was like, oh yeah, Smite's some bullshit. Here's my new number 2.
Yeah.
And Langdon was like, I guess it keeps me out of jail.
Yeah.
So whatever.
But then, presumably to the authorities, he was kind of off the map because it's not like he's walking around in public with half a green face.
Yeah.
And now he's in police custody.
Yeah.
In hospital. So, yeah, he should presumably go to jail. But I got a feeling he might just be back with Kingpin next episode.
Yeah. Kingpin got him out on bail. He got some good lawyers.
Yeah, probably.
For his war crimes.
Yeah, so I think there was some disappointing stuff with that. I will say that I think the Black Cat stuff worked pretty well. I like the dynamic.
This is probably the episode I needed last time in terms of Black Cat and Spider-Man, where like we're actually moving the needle a bit more.
Yeah, I appreciated they both have their motives, and they both have limited knowledge of what the other person has got going on. So
yeah,
she doesn't know that he feels responsible for the creation of Morbius with his blood. Also, his connection to knowing Morbius in real life and stuff like that. He doesn't know about her being Felicia and having that connection. They don't feel like they can share it with the other person. She has also gone to the I'm a solo player now because of my personal stuff, which is how Spider-Man was at the start of the season. Now he is flipped and he's like, we're partners. But now it's like, oh, I committed to this too late. Now she doesn't like trust me to talk to me about this stuff. That was like quite a fun dynamic. I think it was good drama, you know?
Yeah, It's good drama. Yeah.
So, and I also think it was helped that I don't know if we mentioned this before, but the voice actress for Black Cat and Felicia is Jennifer Hale, who, I mean, if anyone just IMDb's her, she's done a million things. She's in loads of video games.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's really good in this show. So many of the scenes work better just because of the way she's delivering those lines.
Yeah.
And good distinction of the voice between Felicia and Black Cat.
It's like an octave deeper.
Yeah, and it's like recognizable as the same person, but you can. It's got a bit of that Clark Kent Superman thing where you're like, you could see how someone would not immediately see that they're the same person,
even if they're not Spider-Man.
Yeah, yeah.
The Spider-Man, even if it doesn't happen, he's not there. But like other people can see that there's a difference.
Yeah, I do love that they moved the Harry thing forward. I think they could have done this an episode or two sooner.
Probably like half a season sooner.
Yeah. Because when they did that, like him missing him again, I'm like, really? They're doing the exact same scene again? And then, in fact, they actually have like another development for it with him finding out. And I like when the show does that, where it's like if you don't care about like Morbius, it's like, well, something else happened in it. Like, even though we complained about the Morbius thing in season 2, there was also like, oh, well, you know, the 6 arms is happening, and now the Man Spider thing, and now Blade, you know, and Craven is here. There was other stuff going on that kind of weaves in, and I like it when the show does that. That's the fun thing about like a serialized show. And when it's very much like this episode, just this one thing is happening, it gets really repetitive. And if this episode didn't have so much going on, I think I would have like hated it.
Oh yeah.
But it had a lot going on and then like one good like dramatic thread. So it ended up being like an okay watch and nowhere near as miserable as last episode. But
yeah,
saying that, like when I look back on it, I'm like, I don't think it was actually good. It was just kind of watchable, you know?
It's put a lot of stuff into it. So it has like some momentum, but there was no like craft, I would say. We've referred to them for a long time as like cheese nightmares, but I feel like at this point, like I feel like I've eaten so many that my arteries are starting to like clog a little bit.
Yeah, I definitely can't become accustomed to it. It's like if you have an order and you double cheese it, and then at a certain point you're just like, this is just the regular amount of cheese.
Like less cheese in this feels weird. Yeah.
So yeah, it felt very like standard in a lot of ways, which is crazy for how much happens in it.
Like I'm stunned this is a 21-minute episode. There was so much plot.
I could see myself watching this when I was a kid and this being the episode where I zone out, or I'm like, oh, that was kind of
some bullshit.
That was kind of a waste of waking up early on a Saturday morning, you know, like I could have done something else.
I could have slept in today.
Yeah.
She and I are telepathically linked.
Do as you like.
Okay, that went well.
We shall follow him. He will grow accustomed to us. Perhaps, if we're lucky, someday he will be our friend.
Do you think Morbius will return in this show?
I'm like half a mind to be like, a Black Cat will come back and be like, oh, Morbius just stayed out there for some reason, and I'll be like, yeah, I'm happy with that. If this is the last time we get of Morbius, part of me is gonna be like mad that we didn't get like a big payoff, but other part of me is like, let's just don't question it. Just no more Morbius is the most important thing.
Yeah, I would like to believe that. I think he is coming back.
Yeah.
I think it would be very weird if Black Cat didn't come back. I'm pretty sure she will. Morbius, I think they left the door open too much. I feel like maybe this was the backdoor pilot for that. That doesn't get picked up. Next season, he's gonna come back for like maybe not a Morbius episode, but like he will be present in a story.
Yeah. My pilot is in development hell. We could not pick up a director.
Who were the partners this week, and were they in dangers?
There were so many goddamn partners this week. So, obviously, Spider-Man and Black Cat, they were probably, like, in the least danger of being in danger. And then there was, like, a bit of, like, a Black Cat and Morbius partners thing that's kind of, like, started up. Got a new partnership. Someone called them New Partnership Alarm. And then also the Blade is also in a reluctant partnership with these two.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like intersecting partnerships going on.
Uh-huh.
And then Whistler,
Whistler's like, where's my partner?
yeah, he's going on like fucking like incel forums, being like, "Oh my god, like life is so hard if you're not a vampire."
Yeah. Women only
Yeah,
like vampires.
All these like, all these Vladimirs just like taking all the women.
All these Eastern Europeans coming over,
Yeah,
taking our women and our plasma.
yeah, it's a real problem. Terry and Blade are kind of a partnership,
Mhm.
but they are definitely in danger because Blade's not coming back to New York for a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Terry, like, I'm sure she's a strong, like, independent woman, but like, Blade is her weakness. You know that, like, at some point in like the next decade, she'll have like a child by Blade, and he's gonna be like a deadbeat dad. He's gonna like come in and be like, "Oh yeah, your dad is just hunting vampires out in Europe." And it turns out he's just like in New Jersey, avoiding paying like child support. So that partnership is in danger, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, this is the breakup episode, I guess, right? Because it's just
Yeah.
like a bunch of partnerships ending.
It's like a 500 Days of Blade situation going on.
Someday I will explain. For now, just remember, I love you.
Any last thoughts on this episode?
I'm glad it's over. I was
It could have been worse.
I was kind of it could be worse. There couldn't be Blade in this. I was glad Blade came back, but then Blade was as sad as I was that he was here, because it was just like a lot of like a lot of Blade's mommy issues and a lot of him like dipping in, dipping out.
Mhm.
I'm glad like we have like a resolution of sorts for Morbius, and I'm glad that it means that we'll have some actual like plot stuff to do. The Harry Osborn stuff probably points to what it's going to be about, and I'm glad that we'll get to do some of that, where we get to have Spider-Man not fighting vampires, because at this point it's something like 20% of the show is him fighting vampires.
I guess it was like had a spike of popularity in the 90s at a certain point, and they were like, "Oh, vampires? Are we doing vampires?"
I guess that's already happened, because Interview with the Vampire was like 94, right?
Oh, was it? I thought it was a bit later, but yeah. I don't know. I guess it definitely goes through phases. There are times when there's no vampires for a little bit. I do have one random thing on vampires. I don't know how much this is legit.
I have another thing, but I'll let you finish first.
According to this article, it's Fandom Wire. There was like a bit of oh god, I hate using this terminology, but like he would refer to it as Bruce Timm and John Semper throwing shade at each other. And
Oh, Jesus.
are you aware of Bruce Timm?
No, I don't know who the fuck that is.
So Bruce Timm is
That wasn't shade, by the way. This is just
Bruce Timm.
I didn't just clap back right now.
He is basically like one of the key people behind the DC animated universe. He's written comics and stuff, but he was like head producer on Batman the animated series and Superman the animated series and the Justice League. Those specific designs that all those shows had, that's like his art style. Basically, yeah, you know that show's running at the same time as Spider-Man the animated series.
Yeah.
And there was a thing where, like, I think Bruce Timm wanted to have an episode where Batman became a vampire, and he couldn't get it past the censors. And we know that in this show, there's all this issue with, like, they can't say blood. The word blood does come up in this episode once, but, like, it's pretty rare for them to be. That's why they say plasma. Morbius sucks people with his hands.
Rather than biting them.
Miriam does it with her eyeballs. There's fangs, but no one is using them.
Yeah.
They're like dodging, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
John Semper Jr. said that he was interviewed by DRG4, and he basically said that he made it happen, like the vampire thing happened, because he had a really good relationship with the censorship board, and he played ball with them, and was basically like, I had a good relationship with broadcast standards and practices, in that I recognize that what they're trying to do is important, and philosophically I am not opposed to what they're trying to do. There were writers on Batman who decided that they were going to wage war against them, and I think that's an unproductive attitude.
Ooh.
Yeah, and basically someone brought that comment to Bruce Timm. I can't remember when this interview was. I think it was more recent.
It was probably too late for it to really matter. and
Right.
too late to make Bruce Timm's response, which is about to come, like way out of proportion.
Well,
just by how we're phrasing it.
I do think the whole thing, like the idea of it being a feud between them, is a bit much. It's just
a
like
huge much,
it's just
yeah.
a comment he made, but it's very much an idea of like he was aware that they were trying to do it and couldn't do it, and he's like, I did it though. You know, you just got to do it the right way. And Bruce Timm's response was, "Oh, Spider-Man did that really lame one, right? He had like suction cups on his hands, so that was fine. Like, if I wasn't going to do it properly, I wasn't going to do it." That is an interesting thing to note.
Ooh, cat back. I'm glad someone got paid to write 500 words about that.
Yeah.
It was like a priority article.
Well, it's not, in a way, it's not worth an article, but it's worth like a couple of minutes of our time on this episode of this podcast.
Yeah.
But I think it's funny that they were both like really super into doing vampires in shows that didn't really need vampires.
It was the 90s, we were doing vampires.
But one of them was like wanted vampires so much they were willing to change what vampires were in order to do
just
it.
to get around the censors.
Uh-huh.
So my weird vampire thing, and this is kind of like completely off topic, but did you know that like that the years that vampires tend to be popular in films tend to coincide with the years that we have Democrats as presidents?
Well, there's like a really like hacky joke that that's a setup for, right?
It probably, but I think it's genuinely true. Like 2022, Morbius was when we had Joe Biden. 2008, Barack Obama, Twilight. 1998, 1994, 1992, Blade, Interview with Vampire, Bram Stoker's Dracula, Clinton. And I can't remember like my like presence like far back enough, but like I think that's enough of a coincidence.
Yeah, that is weird. Maybe it's a bunch of like liberals writing vampire stories, and they're just less stressed when the Democrats are in charge, and they're like, "Oh, finally, I can write about
vampires." Like political unrest is now at a low ebb. I can finish my life's work.
So you're saying if Kamala Harris wins, then we're getting a Morbius 2 next year in celebration?
Yeah, basically, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, so you're saying that
I'm going to vote Trump.
You're British, but you are going to vote for Trump to stop Morbius 2 happening.
Like, what happens in American democracy is fine, but the most important thing is that Morbius does not happen. In fact, I'll be campaigning both candidates to kind of elaborate on their Morbius stances before I vote for them.
Yeah, you're undecided because of the Morbius.
The Morbius question,
Yeah, the Morbius question. The Morbius in the room.
Yeah. Let's all address the Morbius in the room. I want to hear Donald Trump talk about Morbius. That'd be fun. So there's a vampire going around New York. He's sucking people off, you know? He's sucking with the plasma. And the Democrats, what do you believe? I don't know. I haven't got anything. My Trump impression is... I'm going to put it away forever after this election. I want him to die. Don't sue me, Jack Black. Don't take upset Jack Black.
There's a chance of him talking about vampires, which is unlike other presidents, you know? Like, he does talk about the late, great Hannibal Lecter weird amount. So maybe if someone whispers in his ear, something, vampires, Democrats, vampires, he's going to be like, oh, I'm going to talk about that in every single speech.
Yeah. For, like, the rest of, like, the debate, like, circuit.
There's someone on his team that has the chance to do a very funny thing. And just feed him stuff about vampires and see if he just starts talking about it. Some weird word association.
It's like probably not going to happen by accident. They'll be trying to tell them not to watch vampires, and he's going to accidentally like get him on the idea of like, I don't know, like Twilight, Edward Cullen. It might have even happened in private, and that's like cancel it. Like, do you know how like he was like with the National Association of Black Journalists about a month ago, and we didn't see all the footage? Mm-hmm. Maybe if they hadn't taken him off stage, he would start talking about vampires.
Yeah.
That's what they were trying.
Yeah, he was really upset that he couldn't get to the vampire talking points he had planned.
I mean, like, probably all over Truth Social the next day. You know?
A little late, Peter? What's the matter? Get wrapped up watching cartoons this morning?
Not in the mood, Debra.
So, for Comic Origins this week, I'm going to talk about two people, but one of them is going to be very brief and more relevant, and the other one is going to be slightly less relevant and more in-depth.
Yeah.
First off, Miriam.
Oh yeah, Miriam. Our good friend Miriam.
This is more just one interesting point because she has extremely small amount of comic history. For one thing, in the comics, I don't know why they made this change, but she is called Vanessa,
Right.
and they changed it to Miriam here. Not sure why. At this point in the comics, what would it be 97?
Yeah.
In Blade's origin story, Vanessa was like bitten by a vampire. We go into Blade's origin in a separate episode, so we can talk. You can go back and listen to that there if you want more details. But basically, she dies in childbirth, and that's kind of the end of the character. And she doesn't come back or anything. But then in I think 2007, one of the first ongoing Blade series that wasn't like immediately cancelled, and someone brings her back as a vampire. I just think it's weird and interesting because at this point in the show, this storyline is just completely made up for the show. Then what year is the Blade movie? Is it 98?
98, yeah.
Yeah, and then so like a year after this, the Blade movie comes out and uses that storyline, right?
Yeah. And also the nightclub scene as well.
yeah.
So Steven Norrington definitely watched Spider-Man the Animated Series and lead up to making Blade.
It's just very interesting, the idea of like people complain about like comic accuracy and stuff. And it's often me complaining about that as well.
Yeah.
In this case, like it seems like they kind of ignored a lot of the comics and went, how can we do an adult version of what this Saturday morning cartoon did with Blade?
Mm-hmm.
Which is very interesting because there's a lot of stuff that went into the movies from there. And it's, you know, you can see how those conversations happened. But then the reason I bristle at the idea of comparing the nightclub scenes is that this nightclub scene in this episode is like so brightly lit. It looks like a mall. Like,
oh my god, it looks like shit.
Yeah, it's very funny seeing them with their costumes walking through the crowd and like that one woman being like, "Oh, nice costume," to like Spider-Man. It's like a fun thing. But like, yeah, it's very different from like a dark, dingy club with like blood raining from the sprinklers and one of my favorite action scenes in any superhero movie. Like, everyone go and watch Blade. If you have not seen Blade or you haven't seen it in a while, go watch Blade. Blade fucking rules. And we have an episode on it that's on the regular feed.
Patreon.
No,
No, the first one is on the regular feed.
The first one. Yes. And then we talk about every other Blade media, including the anime and the other movies on the Patreon.
And the series.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. But main thing I'm talking about today is the character that we've never done one of these things before. How do I share screen?
I'm gonna have a drink before you put it up in case I have to do a spit take.
There you go. We're talking about. Did that actually make you spit take?
Almost did. Yeah.
We're talking about.
Why is he watching a woman through a window? Okay. You know what? I don't know.
We are talking about Debra Whitman, who, again, I'll be posting these panels on the blog, but she is not someone who's had the happiest life. And I will say the accurate thing about this episode of bringing up her failed romance with Michael Morbius of all people, and then dropping it and like leaving her in a place of like, I guess you're just a bit sad about this now, but you weren't important to Morbius, so whatever. That's actually kind of accurate to Debra Whitman's life.
Oh my god, yeah. This still is. It's a cover of Debra Whitman who's having a bad time. Let's say.
Yeah. She had 47 appearances, which is pretty low for like a supporting character. But
considering how long this comic series has gone on.
Yeah. She was introduced in 1979 in Amazing Spider-Man 196. She was created by Marv Wolfman and Al Milgrom.
They say Al Milk.
Basically, she's a secretary at ESU.
Mm-hmm.
She and Peter start dating. Most of this kind of happens in this era where like Spider-Man is kind of like it's post Gwen Stacy, pre Mary Jane, or at least pre like proper like the Mary Jane like relationship ongoing thing. So he's like dating a bunch of random characters, and you know, I can't remember a lot of their names because they weren't that important. They didn't stick around. But Debra Whitman is a particularly sad case.
Yeah.
There are dozens of examples of, and then all of these will be on the blog. There are so many of her being rejected by Peter because of Spider-Man reasons. So stuff like them having a date, they're walking towards the movie theater, he hears something on the news and then he's like, I gotta go, and runs away. And that happens to her like 25 times.
Is it kind of like in Parks and Recreation where like Adam Scott's character keeps going to that one like accounting firm and he has to keep like leaving before he starts because of some stupid shit? It kind of reminds me of that.
It is very much like that, and she's taking it bad every time. Every time she is doing like actually kind of a relatable response, which is just like, oh, I must have done something wrong, you know? And it's just really sad every single time.
At which point do you stop going out with this guy?
Right. Well, eventually that does happen. She goes through, oh God, she goes through a lot of shit. She starts dating like a guy called Biff at one point who's like a hunk. He's kind of like Flash in this show. He's just kind of a bit of a joke, bit of like a big guy. And then just like one of those things where like, even when Peter isn't blowing her off, his internal monologue is like, I don't know if I like Deborah. You know, like that kind of, they're kind of like, well, she's nice. Yeah, I'll go on a date with her. And then kind of being like, yeah, do I actually like her though? You know, do I really? And it's like, oh God, like, it's like, if she could see these thought balloons, it would be bad.
Oh my God.
Eventually she kind of gives up and goes dates Biff. And that's the point when he's like, I like Deborah. And comes in, and then she's like, "Oh, I'm with this guy now," and he's like, "Oh,
I've got to kill him now."
And it's like one of those things where like he knocks on her door and he opens it, that kind of vibe, and then he's like, "Oh, okay, I'll catch you later. I'm just a friend. Haha, bye." After that point, there's this whole thing where basically Biff, it turns out, knew Deborah when she was married to a guy called Mark Whitman. So she's still married to this guy technically and didn't tell anyone.
Right.
There's this whole flashback. Turns out this guy was like physically abusive, and Biff had seen her like with a black eye and stuff. I haven't seen many instances of comics as early as the 70s showing something like domestic abuse.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Biff ends up rescuing her and taking her to the hospital, but she's like in complete denial. Was like, oh yeah, Mark is the best guy ever. He would never do anything to me. It's a recurring thing of him kind of leaving and then coming back into her life. And then during this era, this whole thing is still happening to Deborah while the whole thing Peter's happening, with Peter blowing her off all the time. And then there's a whole thing where like he's pissed off about something else, and then like Deborah like comes up to him and starts like, you know, oh, why did you leave me here? Like, why didn't you tell me about this? Like, I can't remember what the specifics were, but he gets like pissed off because he's having awful Spider-Man stuff happen to him, and he's like, I don't give a shit, leave me alone. Like, he's super rude to her. Biff comes up as like, bro, you can't speak to my girlfriend like that. You made my girlfriend cry. And then Spider-Man, I don't know if I got this image. He just backhands Biff.
Oh my God. Yeah,
he backhands him and like almost like knocks this guy out. Basically, after this point, he's like, oh shit, I just like assaulted a man.
Yeah.
After making a woman cry. It's not a
He
good
almost
look.
kills him.
Yeah. And then he's like, oh, I need to get the fuck out of here. And he like runs up to the roof. And then she runs up to the roof and she gets there and he's not there anymore, but sees Spider-Man swinging away.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when she's like, oh, is Peter Parker Spider-Man? And then she starts believing that, and that becomes an ongoing thing. She goes to a psychiatrist. She's there being like, I think this guy called Peter Parker is Spider-Man. And the psychiatrist is like, oh, you're crazy. This is a delusion.
Oh no.
Which is like, I don't know, it's a crazy thing, I guess, but the psychiatrist doesn't know Peter, so presumably Spider-Man is somebody.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if that's the right response.
This woman has enough gaslighting in her life at this point. Like, just...
Yeah.
Let her be.
And speaking of gaslighting, it gets a hell of a lot worse. Basically, the psychiatrist comes to Peter, and he's like,
this bitch is saying you're Spider-Man.
He says, I think you should dress up as Spider-Man.
Oh my God.
And go talk to Deborah. And if you go up to her and then you unmask and go like, hey, it's me, Peter, that'll be so shocking to her that it will snap her out of her delusion that you're Spider-Man.
How could that possibly go wrong?
And that's insane already, right? But then also there's the added
Already
thing
it's
of like
like
Peter knowing he is.
your like psychiatrist's license should be revoked. You know?
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a good idea, especially for someone who's presumably also talking about the other crazy stuff. They shouldn't even be talking about the Spider-Man stuff, really. They should be mostly talking about the domestic abuse she's experienced.
But no, she thinks you're Spider-Man. I can't really do anything about the rest of it. But what if he broke her brain instead?
Well, he tells Peter to do that, and then Peter's like, no,
He
I'm not
spits in
going to
his
do
face,
that.
yeah.
He's like, that's insane. I'm never going to do that. But then Biff comes and tells him about all the domestic abuse stuff, and that's when he learns about it. And that's when he goes, okay, she's clearly in a really bad spot. I guess I have to do this.
You have to do fucking shit.
And he goes to her window, and you saw that image earlier. He goes to her window and like sees her, and she's like talking to her stuffed animals.
Oh no.
Like, oh, Peter is Spider-Man, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, okay, this is going bad. I guess I need to do this.
I had to do it as this goes further south.
Yeah, which is, again, crazy. He does this. He goes to her and he says, hi, it's me, Peter Parker. I'm Spider-Man. Takes off his mask. Oh, now I'm seeing you do this. You unmasking. I see how ridiculous it is that Peter Parker could be Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is something you've talked about on this podcast before, about like, it's easy to be tricked into thinking that Peter isn't Spider-Man because, like, why would you think that guy is a superhero?
Yeah.
You know?
Like, here's this cool guy who's saving the planet, and there's this piece of shit over here. Why would they be the same person?
This whole arc is like 4 years of the comics, and then she basically, at this point, is when she's like, you've cured my problems by showing me your face. I am now going to get an official divorce from Mark.
Okay, that's good.
And then disappears from the comics for like 24 years. She's not in them.
Oh, that's good. She got out of her life a little bit.
She does, but then she comes back in a very dramatic manner. In 2007, it's the Civil War arc.
Oh no!
For those who
oh no,
it's not even what you think, right? It's maybe worse. So, for those who don't know, in 2007 they did undo this in much the similar way they do in No Way Home, but there's a point in Civil War where Peter Parker unmasks for the public on TV and says, I am Peter Parker, I've been Spider-Man since I was 16 years old. And he is on the pro side of the Superhuman Registration Act.
Mm-hmm.
And that means he's teamed up with Iron Man side. Is kind of like a bit more of a complicated version of what happened in the Civil War movie.
Yeah.
But basically, he reveals his identity to the public. He lives in Avengers Tower with Aunt May and Mary Jane. He's a member of the Avengers. He has to fight against the people who are against registering their secret identities. But at a certain point, things go a bit south. Things go too far for him. He decides to flip sides, and he joins Cap's side, leading to him having to fight Iron Man and get his ass kicked.
Yeah.
But also, at this point, he has already revealed his identity to the world. So now he is on the run and everyone knows who he is. And this is like a terrible time where his whole family is at risk and he's like living in motels and stuff like that.
Oh, like regular ass Peter Parker then.
But now, like, you know, every 2-bit thug who you put away is now
trying to kill him.
Yeah. It's during this time that it's just like every issue is kind of like what's another way this can go wrong for him?
Yeah.
And it's during this, in the pages of Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, Debra Whitman puts out a book titled Two-Faced, How Spider-Man Ruined My Life.
Oh, yeah.
She's a little hesitant about putting it out with that title. You know, that and then a picture on the front cover of half Spider-Man's face, half Peter Parker's face. But then it's a complete kick in the teeth for Peter, who's on the run at this point. And she's doing this book signing, you know, and everything. At one point, like, Flash, like, turns up and starts yelling at her because he's found out that it's Peter as well. But, like, he's still pro Spider-Man. He's still, you know, the lead of the
fan club.
The fan club, yeah. He comes up and he, like, has a massive shouting match with her and she slaps him and he runs away.
That tracks.
I think he goes there undercover, and then he ends up getting attacked by, I think, the Vulture.
Sure.
Basically in this situation where Deborah's life is at risk, and he ends up saving her as, Peter Parker, and everyone knowing that. And this whole conflict kind of comes to a head with Betty Brant, who is like, we've talked about her before. She worked at the Bugle, and she later on, by this point, she's gone from secretary to working as a like an investigative reporter.
Yeah.
And she talks to Deborah like on the side of Peter, like, what are you doing? This guy's going through some shit and you're making money off ruining his life more. And she reveals to Betty that the editors forced her to exaggerate the mental damage that Peter had inflicted on her to make for a better book. And the only reason she did it is that her mother was sick and the medical bills were more than she could afford. So when she was approached to write the book and the Bugle basically dug up all this stuff on his past relationships, she was like, okay, I'll go for it, and felt really bad. And then she ends up deciding to tell the full truth to a different newspaper, talking to Betty, which basically throws the Bugle under the bus, and they get rinsed because it's like, okay, you pressured a damaged woman into lying.
Yeah.
And that, as far as I know, is the last Debra Whitman. But basically, you got this weird arc, which, even though it's a fictional character, feels kind of like unethical to this fictional character. And then years later, the writer Peter David, who wrote a lot in the 80s and stuff, he's a great writer, Peter David, for Spider-Man, brings this storyline back. And basically, I think it's actually probably one of the more interesting Civil War stories of like, hey, remember this old character that we haven't talked about for 25 years? Here's how they would react to it. And it's like kind of a realistic situation as well in terms of like how this stuff goes, like, and that you feel like as you're reading it, she's a really hateable character until you find out about why she needs the money and what happened behind the scenes, and then you're like, oh, okay, can I understand this? And then she kind of redeems herself at the end. What do you think of that? That's everything for Debra Whitman as well, as far as I know. So all the science stuff and the stuff that's been in the show,
all that agency she has,
it's really them taking stuff from character from the comics and then like giving her a whole other thing. I mean, I guess some of the personality is still there. She is still kind of like a bit of a introverted, like nerdy character who is
a bit of a sad sack.
Yeah, a bit of a sad sack, but also like pretty judgmental as well.
Yeah, like deservedly alone.
And I think they amped up some of her aggressive attributes in the show.
Yeah, I bet.
And then also just like made her a scientist to fit with, I guess, the setting. And maybe they didn't want to just like introduce a female character to be a secretary. Maybe they thought that was a bad look or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
she has. They need someone to like set all the stupid stuff in motion, I guess, which is fair enough, really.
What do you think of the crazy stuff? Because I think the more modern story is pretty like closed case. Yeah, and then that early one though is like off the wall,
like a batshit insane psychiatrist. Yeah, no, I think I guess she's not the last one to suffer at the hands of Peter Parker, but like. This feels particularly bad in that he doesn't seem to be particularly invested in her at all. And she actually just suffers under his hands for like no reason. Look at that, she's like crying because
Yeah. Ugh. It's funny. I took some screenshots for this and then like I ended up having a whole folder within my Debra Whitman folder that was called rejection because I found so many instances of her being rejected by Peter.
Oh my god.
But yeah, no.
That's not the saddest thing.
But yeah, this is someone who is like gaslit by Spider-Man into thinking that she's clinically insane. And then he tries to undo that. And it just makes her adopt. It basically gaslights her further into thinking, oh, I was stupid the whole time. Yeah. And then at a certain point, she finds out that he actually was Spider-Man. And I can't they never show it in a comic, but like I can't imagine what that moment would have been like.
She probably like flipped the table.
Yeah.
Even like a brain aneurysm.
But anyway, yeah, that's our comic origins for this episode.
Well, yeah, that's yeah, that's the story of how Spider-Man like broke a woman's brain
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
God.
One of the many
Wow.
victims of Spider-Man.
Oh, this fantastic hero that we revere so highly. I kind of want to see the new Spider-Man movie. Just him like breaking a woman's brain.
Yeah, that should be the plot of the next
Yeah.
next movie. Yeah.
It's just like a thriller with like Peter and like blasting a woman. I'd probably watch that. Until that happens, we've got no Spider-Mans to look forward to, but we do have an episode of the podcast coming up after this where we're talking about something that isn't Morbius. But yeah, for more of us, check out the rest of the podcast. Check us out on all the socials. Some of the socials, particularly Blue Sky, particularly Instagram,
Threads,
blah, blah, blah.
Discord. Join the Discord.
Absolutely, do all those things, and check out our Patreon. Give us money, like for £10, we'll do whatever you want. Blade.
There's a bunch of Blade shit on there.
So much Blade shit. Like,
listen to our Morbius review as well.
Oh, please, yeah. Please do that so you don't have to watch Morbius. Don't watch Morbius. But yeah, apart from that, I think that is us. That's all she wrote. That's all she bladed for today. So any last words, Jack?
As Peter said, at least there's nowhere to go from here but up.
And that's a great moment to end it on. Thank you for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
See you later.
Bye.